The ice storm approaches. The sky had turned a dark, angry gray, clouds swirling like giants above the frozen plains of the alien world. The wind screamed across the icy cliffs, tearing at whatever dared to stand in its path. The alien mother wrapped her thin cloak tightly around herself, shivering, her small child clinging to her chest, their breath forming tiny clouds in the frigid air. She had never felt so afraid, never so powerless. The ground beneath her feet cracked with frost, ice shards slicing through the air. The storm was coming faster than anyone expected, stronger than the legends spoke. The mother's eyes darted across the barren landscape, searching for shelter, any cave, any hollow. But there was nothing, only the endless white and the howling wind. She hugged her child closer, whispering soothing words, though even she doubted their comfort. Suddenly, movement caught her eye. A figure, tall and strange, trudging against the wind, unafraid, unshaken by the storm. The human, dressed in heavy protective gear, carried a glowing device in his hands, cutting a path through the blizzard as if the storm did not exist. The mother froze, unsure what to think. His presence was strange, terrifying, yet somehow comforting. Her child started to whimper, tiny hands reaching out, eyes wide with fear, slipping slightly from her grasp. She felt a panic rising in her chest, a cold fear stronger than the storm itself. The ice river nearby churned dangerously, its surface cracked and jagged, ready to swallow anyone who stepped too close. She tried to move, but her legs shook, her strength fading, and then, without warning, her worst fear came true. The child slipped, slipping from her arms as the icy wind pushed them toward the frozen river. She screamed, her voice lost in the roar of the storm. Her arms flailed, but the cold was too strong, the river too fast. You'd only watch, helpless, as her child's small body tumbled toward the edge. The human reacted instantly, without hesitation. He ran through the snow, each step measured, precise, as if he knew exactly where to go. He reached the river just in time, plunging his arms into the icy water, grabbing the child with firm hands, lifting him to safety. The mother watched in disbelief, unable to speak, her heart pounding. She had never seen anyone risk their life for someone else, especially not a stranger. The human wrapped the child in a glowing thermal blanket, murmuring soft words, his eyes calm, steady, full of care. The mother wanted to ask questions, to understand, but words caught in her throat. She only stared, frozen with awe, fear, and confusion. The storm howled louder, yet somehow, beside the human, there was a strange sense of safety, a small flicker of hope in the cold, harsh world. And then the ground beneath the ice cracked ominously, a sharp sound that echoed through the blizzard. Something was coming, something dangerous. The human's gaze shifted, alert, ready, protective. The mother clutched her child tightly, unsure if the storm itself or what lurked beyond it would strike first. Her life, and her child's life, now depended on this strange human. The wind tore at their clothes, snow stung their faces, and the alien mother realized one truth she had never known. She had never seen compassion, never felt it in her world, until now. Until the human had saved her child from the icy death that awaited.
The brave rescue. The storm raged on, tearing at the frozen cliffs, the snow cutting like tiny knives. The alien mother trembled as she watched the human carefully cradle her child in his strong arms. Each movement was precise, deliberate, full of calm, as if the wind could not touch him. She had never seen such courage, such focus, in anyone before, not in her people. Not in anyone who claimed to survive this harsh world. The child shivered violently, tiny teeth chattering, lips blue from the cold. The human crouched down, gently wrapping him in a thick, glowing thermal blanket, the warmth spreading slowly like sunlight in the icy cave. "It's okay, you're safe now," he said in a voice strange but soothing. She could not understand the words, but the tone carried meaning, a meaning she had never known. Care without asking. Sacrifice without demand. The mother stepped closer, hesitant, unsure if she should trust, or if this stranger was another danger, yet the child reached for the human, small hands clutching at his sleeve, and something in her chest shifted, a spark of hope, buried beneath years of fear and distrust. She swallowed her pride and fear, moving closer. "Stay back," she thought to herself, though her eyes betrayed her curiosity. The storm outside battered the cliffs, ice chunks breaking loose, crashing into the snow like thunder. The human scanned the area, his gaze sharp, noting the treacherous ground and the sharp edges hidden beneath the snow. He spoke again softly to the child, moving with a grace and skill the mother had never seen, each step careful, deliberate, protecting both the child and the mother. Then, a deep crack echoed across the icy canyon. the ground trembled slightly, loose ice sliding toward them. The mother gasped, fear gripping her again. Her mind screamed to run, but she could not move fast enough. The human acted quickly, placing his body between them and the falling ice, arms wide, a shield made of flesh and courage. The mother watched, frozen, heart pounding, unable to look away. The ice hit the ground with a thunderous crash, snow spraying like frozen fire, yet the human stood firm, unscathed, the child safe. The mother realized something she had never felt before. Her world was cruel, survival was hard, but here was someone who faced danger for another. Without reward, without fear, without hesitation. She wanted to speak, to ask how he could be like this, but the words stuck, lodged in her throat. Instead, she watched him carefully, noting every small movement, every gentle gesture toward her child. Her heart began to change, the walls of distrust slowly crumbling, replaced by awe and confusion. Suddenly, movement flickered at the edge of her vision, shadows shifting against the white snow. Something approached, fast, purposeful, yet hidden in the storm. The human's eyes narrowed, scanning the horizon. A small device glowing faintly in his hand, ready to protect, ready to act. The mother gripped her child tightly, realizing that the storm was not the only threat, that danger might come from living things as well, predators that thrived in the icy wasteland, or worse, other aliens who believed in survival above all else. Yet she could not look away, for the human moved with such certainty, such bravery, that she could not help but believe. As the wind howled louder, the child clung to the human, his small body trembling but safe. The mother felt a strange warmth in her chest, a feeling she had never known. She had never seen compassion like this, never experienced kindness that was not earned, never imagined that someone could risk themselves for her child. And in that frozen, unforgiving landscape, amidst the howling wind and the blinding snow, she realized one truth that would hang her forever. There was hope, and it walked beside them, carrying her child in its arms, and that hope had a name: the human.
Shelter in the storm. The wind screamed louder now, rattling the jagged ice cliffs and shaking loose shards that crashed to the ground with deafening cracks. The human led the mother and her child across the frozen plain, each step measured, deliberate, never faltering. The mother stumbled once, nearly falling into a hidden crevice, but the human's hand shot out, gripping hers firmly, steadying her. She could not remember the last time anyone had done something for her without expecting something in return. Snow swirled around them like tiny silver knives, the storm turning the world into a blur of white. The child whimpered softly, shivering violently despite the blanket, and the human paused, bending down to whisper soothing words. His voice, calm and steady, seemed to cut through the chaos, and the mother felt a strange warmth creeping into her chest, a feeling she had long thought impossible. "Keep moving," the human said softly, eyes scanning the horizon, not commanding, not demanding, but guiding, offering safety without forcing it. The mother nodded, unable to speak, her pride and fear warring with her growing trust. She had never encountered anyone like him, anyone who faced danger willingly to protect others. Finally, through the storm, a shadowed shape emerged, a small cave carved into the ice cliffs, barely noticeable against the blinding snow. The human led them toward it, pushing aside jagged icicles that blocked the entrance, testing the ground before stepping inside. The mother followed cautiously, holding her child close, her heart still racing, but a small flicker of relief blooming within her. Inside the cave, the temperature was only slightly warmer, but it was shelter, a place to rest and breathe without the relentless storm pressing on them. The human set the child down gently on a soft patch of moss-like alien material, checking him over for frostbite. The mother watched silently, awe and disbelief swirling inside her. His hands moved with skill and care, every action thoughtful, deliberate, protective. The storm raged outside, snow lashing against the cave entrance, but inside, there was a fragile sense of safety. The human gathered some ice crystals and used a small device to melt them into drinkable water, then offered it to the mother, who hesitated, unused to kindness offered freely. "Drink," he said softly, smiling faintly, and she took it, trembling, realizing she had never felt such compassion. Hours passed in the dim glow of his equipment. The mother tried to speak, to ask who he was, why he cared, but words failed her. Instead, she watched as he prepared a simple meal, rationing carefully, ensuring the child ate first, then offering her some. She took it reluctantly, unused to receiving without giving something in return, yet too hungry to refuse. Outside, the storm sounded like thunder, ice grinding against ice. But inside the cave, the human moved quietly, almost like a shadow, ever vigilant, checking the entrance, making small repairs to keep them safe. The mother realized she was learning something she had never known, how trust could grow in the midst of fear, how kindness could survive even in the coldest, most unforgiving places. Then a noise from deeper in the storm made them all tense, a low rumble, almost like a predator moving beneath the ice, or perhaps another traveler. The human's eyes narrowed, his hand resting on the device he carried, ready to protect them. The mother clutched her child tightly, heart racing, feeling both fear and a strange sense of security. For the first time, she believed that someone could face danger without hesitation, someone who could protect not for gain, but simply because it was right. Trust is born. The storm outside raged like a furious beast, snow beating against the cave walls, but inside, the air was quieter, filled with the soft sounds of the child's gentle breathing and the distant howl of wind. The mother sat huddled on the cold ground, wrapped in the thermal blanket, her eyes never leaving the human, who moved with quiet purpose, checking their small shelter, making it safer. She had never seen someone so calm, so fearless, so utterly devoted to another's safety. The child stirred, rubbing sleepy eyes, and the human smiled, crouching down to brush a strand of frozen hair from his face. "You're safe now," he said gently, and even though she did not understand the words fully, the tone carried warmth, and the mother felt a strange comfort. She realized she had never witnessed anyone care for someone else like this, not even her own people, who valued strength and survival above all. Minutes passed, the cave silent except for the wind and the occasional creak of ice, and the mother felt her fear slowly shift, replaced by a cautious curiosity. She dared to speak, voice trembling. "Why? Why do you help us?" The human looked at her, eyes steady and calm. "Because it is right," he said simply, and his gaze did not waver. There was no arrogance, no judgment, only a quiet truth that filled the space between them. She tried to believe, but doubt lingered, years of hardship and betrayal anchoring her heart. Yet the child smiled faintly at the human, small hands reaching for him, and something inside her softened. For the first time in her life, she realized trust could exist, even in the harshest conditions, even in a world built on fear. The human knelt, tending to a small fire-like device that glowed softly, casting gentle light across the cave. Shadows danced along the walls, and the mother felt a strange peace, as if the storm's fury could not touch them here. The child's small voice asked for warmth, and the human wrapped him closer, murmuring words the mother could not understand, yet she could see the care, the protection, the quiet bravery. Hours passed, and she began to talk quietly, sharing small stories of their life before the storm, tales of her world, her people, things she had never shared with anyone. For the first time, she felt heard, not judged, not dismissed. Someone was listening, truly listening, to her fears, her pain, her life. She saw the human nod, sometimes smiling faintly, sometimes silent, but always present, always watching, always caring. Suddenly, a loud crack echoed from the cave entrance, snow falling inside like broken glass. The mother stiffened, fear tightening her chest. But the human rose immediately, moving with speed and precision, checking the source, ensuring nothing dangerous had entered. He returned, calm, placing a reassuring hand on her shoulder, and she realized she did not feel fear now, only a fragile sense of safety. As night deepened, the child slept peacefully in the human's arms, warm and protected, and the mother realized a truth that had never touched her before. She could rely on someone, even a stranger, even a human. She had never seen courage like this, selfless, unwavering, and she felt something growing in her chest, a feeling she could not name but recognized immediately. Trust. The storm continued to howl, ice cracking in the distance, yet in this fragile cave, the alien mother understood a new reality. One person could make a difference. One person could change fate. One person could show compassion where none existed. And in that cold, unforgiving world, she finally believed that hope could survive, because the human was there, guarding her child and watching over her with a courage she had never imagined.
For the first time, she dared to hope that tomorrow might be different, that her child might survive, that life might not be only pain and fear, and she realized the human had given her something more precious than life itself, a reason to trust again. Shadows in the blizzard, the storm showed no mercy, snow whipping against the cave entrance like sharp blades. The alien mother hugged her child tightly, heart hammering. The flickering glow from the human's device cast long shadows on the icy walls, making them dance like living creatures. She had never felt so exposed, so aware of how fragile life could be. The human stood at the entrance, scanning the white abyss outside, his stance steady, unshaken by the fury of the blizzard. His hand rested on a small device that hummed softly, ready for anything, and the mother realized he was not only brave, but prepared. A predator in a world where survival demanded ruthlessness, yet he used it to protect, not to harm, a thought she had never grasped before. Suddenly, a flicker of movement appeared in the swirling snow, fast, deliberate, almost too quick to see. The mother froze, gripping her child, heart pounding like a drum. The human's eyes narrowed, and in a calm voice he said something she could not understand, but the tone carried warning. His body shifted slightly, a silent signal of readiness. The shadow moved closer, and the mother could now see it clearly. A pack of alien predators, creatures she had heard of in stories but never expected to encounter. Their eyes glowed faintly through the storm, and their low growls sent shivers down her spine. She felt a primal fear rise, a desire to run and hide, but the blizzard offered no escape, only the human standing between life and death. The human stepped forward, raising the device, a faint hum turning into a bright pulse of light. The predators halted, hesitating, the IR instincts confused by the unexpected force. The mother held her breath, frozen, unsure if this stranger could truly protect them. One of the creatures lunged, breaking through the snow like a shadow, claws extended, teeth bared. The human reacted instantly, placing himself between the child and danger, the device emitting a bright, cutting beam that forced the predator back, snarls echoing against the ice walls. The mother's mouth opened in disbelief, for she had never seen power used with such precision to save, not to destroy for glory. The other predators hesitated, circling cautiously, the storm masking their movements, yet the human stood firm, unwavering, eyes scanning, analyzing, every move calculated, protecting the mother and child as if nothing else in the universe mattered. She felt her chest tighten, awe and fear mixing together, realizing she was witnessing heroism beyond her understanding. Hours seemed to pass in tense silence, the predators finally retreating into the storm, unwilling to challenge the human any longer. The mother exhaled slowly, her child still clinging to her, trembling, and she realized something that had never occurred to her before. Survival was not just about strength, it was about courage, care, and heart. The human turned toward them, his face calm, tired, but unshaken, and for the first time, she saw not just a protector, but someone who chose to risk everything for the lives of strangers. Her chest felt tight, warmth spreading in her heart. Despite the icy cave, she had never felt such gratitude, such trust, such awe. The storm outside continued to rage, but inside the cave, a fragile peace settled. The human prepared a small meal, sharing it carefully between her and the child, ensuring everyone had enough. He did not speak of reward, did not ask for thanks, only acted with a quiet dignity that left her speechless.
The hidden threat. The storm outside began to weaken slightly, though the wind still howled and snow whipped the jagged cliffs. The alien mother watched the human carefully, noting every movement, every glance toward the cave entrance. She realized he was not only brave but always aware, as if danger could appear from anywhere, even in moments of quiet. The child slept soundly, curled against her chest, finally feeling warmth and safety, and the mother felt a fragile hope she had never known. She dared to relax for a moment, letting her mind wander to what life could be if someone like him existed in her world, someone who did not take, did not betray, someone who simply protected. Suddenly, a faint, almost imperceptible sound reached her ears, a soft scratching from deeper in the cave. The human froze, eyes narrowing, scanning the shadows. The mother's heart pounded, every instinct screaming that this was not part of the storm. Something was inside, watching, waiting. He motioned for her to stay back, his hand steady but firm, and slowly moved toward the sound, every step precise, careful not to startle whatever was there. The mother clutched her child, unsure if she should follow or hide, fear and trust warring inside her. She had never seen anyone move with such calculated courage. A shape emerged from the shadows, small, sleek, and alien, its eyes glowing faintly in the dim light. It hissed softly, a predator or a scavenger seeking warmth. The human spoke quietly, voice low and calm, words she could not understand, but the tone was authoritative, commanding yet not cruel. The creature froze, tilting its head, unsure of this new presence. The human extended a hand slowly, showing no aggression, and the creature stepped back slightly. Then, with surprising intelligence, it crouched, not attacking, not fleeing, but watching, assessing. The mother could hardly be so Leave it. She had never seen such a display of control, such a combination of bravery and empathy. He moved closer to the creature, his steps careful, the device in his other hand ready if needed, and slowly, he guided it toward the back of the cave, away from her and the child. The alien followed, hesitant, trusting the human in a way she could not explain. It was not fear that guided it, but respect, a recognition of strength paired with compassion. Once the creature settled at the back, the human returned to them, brushing snow from his coat, checking the child, making sure he was warm and unharmed. The mother's chest felt heavy with a mix of awe and gratitude. She had never encountered such someone before, someone who faced danger not to conquer, but to protect. Then the cave trembled slightly, small ice fragments falling from the ceiling, and the human's eyes scanned every shadow again, as if expecting more threats. He crouched next to the mother, voice calm but firm, and motioned for her to listen. Her heart raced, realizing that survival in this frozen world demanded not just courage, but vigilance, intelligence, and care. Hours passed, and the cave grew quieter, the storm weakening outside. Yet she knew the world beyond was still dangerous, filled with predators, harsh elements, and perhaps even worse, other aliens who cared only for power. She looked at the human, understanding for the first time the full weight of his bravery, how he faced all this not for glory, but for life itself. The child stirred, reaching for the human, small hands clutching at his sleeve, and the mother felt tears welling in her eyes. She had never seen such compassion, such dedication, and she realized her life had changed. The human had not only protected them from the storm and the predators, but he had taught her trust, hope, and the power of kindness in a cruel world.
The journey begins. The blizzard finally began to calm, leaving a soft, cold silence in its wake. The alien mother stood slowly, brushing snow from her cloak, her eyes never leaving the human, who was already preparing to move, checking supplies and scanning the icy landscape. She felt a nervous excitement mixed with fear, knowing that leaving the cave meant stepping into a world still full of danger. The child clung to her, tiny hands frozen against her chest, looking up at the human with trust and curiosity, and she realized how fragile they were, yet how much courage the human had inspired in them. "We must go," he said, his voice calm, steady, and strangely comforting. She nodded, unable to speak, her gratitude and fear tangled into a silent promise to follow. The first steps outside were shocking, the cold biting deep into their bones, yet the human moved with ease, guiding them across the snow. Watching for unstable ice and hidden dangers, she followed closely, trusting him more than she had ever trusted anyone. She had never imagined a human could move with such skill, such awareness, like he belonged to this frozen world. As they traveled, shadows flitted across the snow, strange shapes moving in the distance, and her heart pounded. But each time, the human paused, scanning, assessing, and leading them safely past every threat. She realized he did not just survive, he dominated danger without arrogance, protecting them without hesitation. Each step he took carried an unspoken promise: "You will live, if I can help it." Hours passed, and the landscape grew harsher, jagged ice cliffs and deep snowdrifts blocking their path. The mother felt her strength waning, her body aching, but the human never faltered, carrying the child when the snow became too deep, moving silently and efficiently, conserving energy while keeping them safe. She could not stop thinking out how different this was from anything she had ever known, a protector who faced danger for others, not himself. Suddenly, a distant roar echoed across the icy plains, and the mother froze, her child trembling against her. The human stopped immediately, crouching low, his eyes scanning the horizon, every muscle in his body alert, ready for the unknown. Her breath caught, fearing another predator, another disaster. But he remained calm, a wall of courage between them and the world. "We must hurry," he said, and she felt a strange certainty, a feeling that somehow, no matter what came, they would survive with him. Together, they pushed forward, slipping and stumbling through the ice, each step a test of endurance and trust. The human's steady presence made the cold less cruel, the dangers less frightening, and for the first time, the mother felt hope burning in her chest. Night fell, the sky painted in shades of dark blue and silver, the stars reflecting faintly on the snow. They paused briefly to rest, and the human built a small shelter from ice and snow, ensuring it was warm and safe. She watched him work, awe and gratitude rising in her heart. She had never seen a human care so much, planned so carefully, moved so deliberately to protect life. The child slept again, safe and warm, and the mother sat close to the human, whispering words of thanks she did not think he could understand, yet his calm smile, his steady gaze, told her he understood fully. She realized, in that frozen night, that the journey ahead would be hard, dangerous, and uncertain, but she would face it with him, because the human had not only saved their lives but had given them a reason to move forward, a reason to trust, and a reason to hope. And as they rested in the cold, the alien mother made a silent vow to never forget the bravery, compassion, and courage of the human who had changed their lives forever.
The hidden fortress. The morning sun barely pierced the icy clouds, casting a pale light over the endless white landscape. The human led them carefully, eyes scanning every ridge and crevice for hidden dangers. The alien mother clutched her child close, feeling the chill seep through her cloak, yet trusting him completely. She had never felt so dependent on someone, yet never so safe. Ahead, through a narrow pass, she saw what looked like shadows of stone structures half buried in ice, jagged and imposing. The human's gaze sharpened, and she realized he had noticed it too. A fortress, he murmured, his voice low, almost to himself, or a shelter of some kind. She felt her heart leap, a mixture of hope and fear, for they did not know who, or what, might inhabit it. As they approached, the fortress revealed its secrets. Walls of ice reinforced with strange dark metal, doors etched with alien runes, and a faint glow flickering from within. The child stirred, sensing both danger and promise, and the mother whispered words of comfort, though her own fear was hard to hide. The human moved forward without hesitation, a figure of unwavering courage. Suddenly a shadow moved along the top of the wall, a guard or perhaps a creature, and the mother froze, feeling panic rising. Her mind screamed to run, yet the human held a hand out, calm and commanding, and motioned for them to stay still. He stepped forward alone, speaking in the alien tongue, a language she could barely understand, but the tone was firm, respectful, and unyielding. The shadow descended, revealing a small armored scout, its eyes glowing bright, scanning, analyzing, its weapon raised slightly, yet it did not attack, and she realized the human had communicated without words, a demonstration of respect and intelligence that demanded acknowledgement. The scout hesitated, then lowered its weapon, allowing them to enter. Inside, the fortress was strange and alien, warm despite the ice outside, filled with glowing crystals and machinery she did not understand. Yet the human moved with ease, guiding them through corridors and chambers, the child clinging to his arm, feeling safe. She marveled at his confidence, his ability to navigate this unknown place without fear, as if he belonged here. They were led to a central chamber where another figure awaited, an elder alien with piercing eyes and long, flowing robes. The human bowed slightly, a gesture of respect, and she realized he was not just brave, but wise and diplomatic, able to face even unknown authority with composure. The elder's gaze swept over her and the child, and she felt exposed, judged, but the human did not waver. "Safe," he said quietly to her, and she felt a wave of relief, for she knew the fortress, though alien and intimidating, would not harm them. Not while he stood with them, not while he chose to protect. She had never seen such power combined with care, such courage paired with kindness, and she realized that her world and her life would never be the same. As night fell within the fortress, the human prepared a small area for them to rest, using alien technology she could barely comprehend, yet it worked perfectly. Warmth and light filled the space, and the child finally slept, safe and peaceful. The mother sat close to the human, watching him work, feeling gratitude, awe, and something deeper, trust she had never known. And as the wind howled outside, echoing against the frozen walls, she knew one thing clearly. The human had not only saved their lives from the storm, predators, and the harsh world, but he had brought them to a place of hope, safety, and possibility. And in that alien fortress, surrounded by unknown power and technology, she understood what true courage and compassion could achieve.
The betrayal revealed, the alien mother woke to a soft hum echoing through the fortress, a sound that carried both promise and warning. Her child stirred beside her, eyes wide, sensing the tension before she did. The human was already awake, moving silently through the chamber, eyes sharp, scanning the corridors as if danger could strike at any moment. She felt her pulse quicken, for though the fortress seemed safe, she now knew that true safety was rare. As they moved toward the central hall, the elder alien awaited them again, his expression unreadable. The human bowed respectfully, but she sensed something had changed, a subtle shift in the air, as if the walls themselves whispered secrets of hidden danger. the mother clutched her child tighter, sensing a threat she could not see, her instinct screaming to run. Suddenly, a loud alarm rang through the fortress, red lights flashing along the icy walls. The human's eyes narrowed, and he moved swiftly, shielding the child with his body. The mother could feel the cold metal beneath the floor vibrate as creatures she could not see ran through the hallways, their shapes blurred, fast, and purposeful, not friendly, not neutral. From the shadows emerged a group of alien guards, their weapons aimed directly at the human, their expressions full of hostility, betrayal. One of them hissed in a sharp, alien tone. The mother's heart froze. They were supposed to be protectors, yet now they stood as enemies, a secret plan unfolding. She had never imagined. The human did not flinch, his stance firm, eyes blazing with determination. He raised his hands slightly, showing no aggression, yet his presence radiated authority. "Step back," he said in the alien language, clear and commanding. "You will not harm them." The guards hesitated, as if sensing that this human was not ordinary, that his courage and will were stronger than the IRS. A shadow moved behind the guards, a tall figure in a cloak of dark metal, someone the mother did not recognize, yet she felt the weight of authority and danger in every step. The figure's eyes locked on the human, and the air seemed to thrum with tension, a silent battle of power about to unfold. The human took a step forward, placing himself between the mother, the child, and the shadowed figure. "I will protect them," he said, voice low, unwavering, every word filled with a courage that seemed impossible. The guards shuffled, unsure, sensing the strength in his determination. The mother felt a surge of awe, her heart swelling. This human would face any threat for their lives. Then, the truth was revealed. The shadowed figure spoke, words sharp as ice. "You brought them here without permission. You defy our laws." The human stood taller, eyes unblinking. "I defy injustice. I protect life," he replied, and she realized that these were not mere words, but a declaration of courage and morality. The mother felt tears well up, a mix of fear, relief, and admiration, for she had never seen anyone challenge power with such clarity, such unyielding bravery. The child clutched her arm, whispering softly, "He will not let them hurt us," and she knew it was true, for this human did not fight for glory, or for himself, but for the lives of those who could not defend themselves. The shadowed figure studied him, eyes narrowing, then finally, after a long, tense moment, nodded slightly, signaling the guards to lower their weapons. The mother let out a breath she did not realize she had been holding. Her respect and trust in the human had grown deeper than ever. He had faced betrayal and danger, and he had not faltered. As the fortress settled once again, quiet but tense, she knew the journey was far from over, yet she also knew one thing with certainty: the human was not just their savior, he was their shield, their hope, and their guide through the storms to come.
The betrayal revealed, the alien mother woke to a soft hum echoing through the fortress, a sound that carried both promise and warning. Her child stirred beside her, eyes wide, sensing the tension before she did. The human was already awake, moving silently through the chamber, eyes sharp, scanning the corridors, as if danger could strike at any moment. She felt her pulse quicken, for though the fortress seemed safe, she now knew that true safety was rare. As they moved toward the central hall, the elder alien awaited them again, his expression unreadable. The human bowed respectfully, but she sensed something had changed, a subtle shift in the air, as if the walls themselves whispered secrets of hidden danger. The mother clutched her child tighter, sensing a threat she could not see, her instincts screaming to run. Suddenly, a loud alarm rang through the fortress, red lights flashing along the icy walls. The human's eyes narrowed, and he moved swiftly, shielding the child with his body. The mother could feel the cold metal beneath the floor vibrate as creatures she could not see ran through the hallways. Their shapes blurred, fast and purposeful, not friendly, not neutral. From the shadows emerged a group of alien guards, their weapons aimed directly at the human, their expressions full of hostility. "Betrayal!" one of them hissed in a sharp alien tone. The mother's heart froze. They were supposed to be protectors, yet now they stood as enemies, a secret plan unfolding she had never imagined. The human did not flinch, his stance firm, eyes blazing with determination. He raised his hands slightly, showing no aggression, yet his presence radiated authority. "Step back," he said in the alien language, clear and commanding. "You will not harm them." The guards hesitated, as if sensing that this human was not ordinary, that his courage and will were stronger than the IRS. A shadow moved behind the guards, a tall figure in a cloak of dark metal, someone the mother did not recognize, yet she felt the weight of authority and danger in every step. The figure's eyes locked on the human, and the air seemed to thrum with tension, a silent battle of power about to unfold. The human took a step forward, placing himself between the mother, the child, and the shadowed figure. "I will protect them," he said, voice low, unwavering, every word filled with a courage that seemed impossible. The guards shuffled, unsure, sensing the strength in his determination. The mother felt a surge of awe, her heart swelling. This human would face any threat for their lives. Then the truth was revealed. The shadowed figure spoke, words sharp as ice. "You brought them here without permission. You defy our laws." The human stood taller, eyes unblinking. "I defy injustice. I protect life," he replied, and she realized that these were not mere words, but a declaration of courage and morality. The mother felt tears well up, a mix of fear, relief, and admiration. For she had never seen anyone challenge power with such clarity, such unyielding bravery. The child clutched her arm, whispering softly, "He will not let them hurt us." And she knew it was true, for this human did not fight for glory or for himself, but for the lives of those who could not defend themselves. The shadowed figure studied him, eyes narrowing, then finally, after a long, tense moment, nodded slightly, signaling the guards to lower their weapons. The mother let out a breath she did not realize she had been holding. Her respect and trust in the human had grown deeper than ever. He had faced betrayal and danger, and he had not faltered. As the fortress settled once again, quiet but tense, she knew the journey was far from over, yet she also knew one thing with certainty: the human was not just their savior, he was their shield, their hope, and their guide through the storms to come.